Alright, so welcome everybody to the armor class. Um, so basically, I'm going to be going over a few things, starting with basic shapes, tools, reference, and techniques. Okay? And then with techniques, I'll be going over simple, advanced, and then just adding extra detail in the end after you create your basic armor. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna get started. So this is the basic stuff. Right now, I'm gonna cover the basic tools. Okay, um, so these are the basic shapes. I'm covering basic shapes, not basic tools. So these are the basic shapes, all right, that you're gonna pretty much see in any kind of armor that you see. Okay, and for each one there is a specific light source. Okay, I did cover this in another class, which you could check out. It's light and dark. Okay, so I did cover this in another class called light and dark. If you want to check that out, all right, on basic shapes and lighting and shadows and all that stuff. So we'll go with the cylinder first. All right, and you have your primary light source. I'm just going to go over this pretty quick. I'm not going to go into details. You'll have a light source that's hidden, from your main source of light. So this will be like your main pin light. Um, so next to that, you'll have another shade of gray, or depending on how the light hits and what time of day it is, it will also determine how close the light is. It could be gray, or um, it could be like dark. It could be black, And then next to that, you'll have like a lighter gray. The thing to remember is your your light hits on a light to dark light cylinder. It's almost like to dark light to dark. Okay. Now you will have variations here and there, but that's mainly um, how the light hits from everything I've seen, different types of armor. So if you keep that in mind, a lot of times you can pretty much fake the rest of it, as long as you have your main light and then your main dark source. Which your main dark source will end up right around here, just in this general area right here. Okay, it may go from white or light to gray, and then to dark, and then it'll go back, to like a light gray. Okay, so now we have another shape up here. It's a cone. For the cone, also again, you have your main light source. This one looks like it has like actually a couple of light sources. But yeah, once again, light to dark, light to dark, light. Okay. And down here, I chose a kind of a different sphere because in a lot of armor, it reflects the sky and the ground. Almost all armor does that, especially if it has like real shiny material. So you'll have your sky, and then you'll have your ground. Okay, and this will pretty much reflect in you know any type or piece of armor that you see, no matter what shape it is. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys that, and we'll move on to the next. If you have any questions on it, just hold off till the end of the class. Okay. All right. So now we're going to the next one, and this is shiny armor. Alright, so now I'm going to be discussing the different types of armor. And this is the first one. Okay. So again, alright, let's start off with the helmet right here. Okay. So right here in the helmet, you see you almost have like a spear shape, right? And then right here, it's almost like a cylinder. Okay. Okay, then you have your main light source right here, your pin light. Alright, same thing up here. You do have some little reflections around here. Like you can see like the area that's surrounding it. You can see the reflection. Some of the sky up here. And then right around this area, going down the cylinder shape, you can see a little bit of objects reflecting off of it. But the same thing applies. You have your pin light, your dark source, then another pin light, another dark. I mean, not pin light, but light source. I'm not sure if there's like maybe either one light source or two lights, but the thing is with metal, it refracts a lot. Like it has a lot of refractions. It has a lot of separations in the light and the shadows. You'll always have your main source of light, but you'll have your darks and grays. It will just like, you know, kind of alternate. It all depends on the environment and how it reacts to it. Okay. But if you guys understand this part where it's just your main light and then dark and then you go light again and dark, then you should be fine. The rest of it you can pretty much just add. You can make up or fake it. Like see you got some back here. You can fake that, you know. Alright. Okay, so now we'll move over here. Alright, once again, you have your light, you know, coming from somewhere around this area, okay? And it's coming down, and then you have some light right here, it goes down. The thing about it is that no matter what type of material armor, what type of design, the light is always going to follow the same direction. It might areas, but it's always get distorted or warped in there. It's going to follow the general direction. Okay. Because see, it doesn't matter what the armor looks like. It's still going up and down. Okay. And then once again, you have your light, your dark, your lighter, your dark, and it just goes all the way around. In some areas, you'll have it more widespread, depending on the material. Once again, you know, but it still follows pretty much the same principle. Light to dark, so on and so forth. Okay. Alright, so now we'll move on to the next type of armor, and this is the more reflective armor that I wanted to show you guys. I picked out this armor because it has a lot of reflection going on from the sky and the ground. So like right here, you have your sky, and then your ground, okay? And depending on the armor, it will determine how distorted it is or how clear it is or whatever. Over here, same thing, you know. Zoom in, you can see some landscape right here in the armor, okay? Same thing down here, you can see some landscape. Alright, and then up here you can see some sky. So you got land and sky. Alright, same thing up here. You know, you got some land and you got some sky. There might be like some sunlight or something hidden right there. Okay, so that's reflective armor. And pretty much all armor is going to reflect anything around the environment, sky, ground, whatever. Alright, so now we're going to move on to more Dold armor. And this is like leather armor, just armor that's probably worn and torn, stuff like that. And like right here, you'll notice that it's still the same principle, it's just a little bit more blurred out, okay? So you still got your light hitting. You still got your, light to dark, light to dark. It's just a little bit more blurred out. That's pretty much the only difference. So it's going to spread a little bit more. And then right here, you also got your light. Then you got some dark back here. But it's not as intense as, say, like the shiny armor. Because it's all blurred out, you might not have as many refractions, you might not have as many separations in the light and dark. Alright, so that's a dull armor. Alright, now we're going to move to, oops, I didn't mean to write on that. Alright. Now we're going to move to detailed armor, okay? In detailed armor, same principle applies, but as you can see, when you have more details and you have more like bumps and scratches, it affects the light. Not completely, but like in certain areas, like so you still have your light source right there. You can still see it, okay? And then you have your dark right there, right? Okay, then you have a light source right here. It's hidden right there. But because of all the details, it's a little bit, kind of scratchy, kind of spread out, whatever. Same thing over here. You have your light hidden. And it's pretty much falling all the way down. There's just some areas that it's hidden more than others. And it could be from, the time of day. But because of all the scratches and all the bumps and everything, all the indentions, the embroidery, everything, it will determine, how much light and how much shadow is, gonna be shown. But it's still the same principle applies. There's no difference. It's just because of the texture and the bumps and details that it's just a little bit more or less defined in the light and shadows. Alright, so now that we covered that, I'm going to go ahead and start showing you some different techniques. Alright, Alright, and the first one I'm going to start off with. First one I'm going to start off with is using the soft brush. And these are just different techniques that I came across, excuse me, that I started using. And the first one I used was, I select like a medium gray, okay? And then I go to soft brush. And I just select the soft brush. Alright. And I leave the opacity probably about, probably about 50%. Alright. And what I do is I'll just make a stroke. I'll just make a line. Okay. You can do it with the line tool if you want. but I'll just make a line like that, okay? So I lay down some value. All right. Then what I'll do is lay down another one, and then another one. Okay. Then go a little bit smaller on the size. I'll pick a darker and lay down a little bit darker. All right. And then maybe a little bit right there. Not so much on the other one though. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll take the eraser and I'll just erase around it. I'll just erase around it, and what this is going to do is it's going to create a sharp edge all the way around. Okay, and already you can see the light source. You can see the light source and the shadow. Okay. Light, and then the shadow. Okay. And that's one actual simple way that I came up with when I was messing around with this to create armor. Just use a soft brush, make a few lines, keep them separated, and then erase around. Okay. So that's one technique. Now, another technique is you can use vector. With vector, I'll select the tool, select like a medium gray, and then I'll just, make a design, crazy design. It don't matter what it is. You can, if you want, you can mess around with the vector, simplify, make it more simplified, or smooth. Okay, something like that. So this could be like a shoulder pad or something like that. You take the erase, and then just go around it and detail a little bit more. Or you can just take the eraser tool and do it. So something like that, okay? Alright, so then what I do is I either use the vector tool on gradient, or you can use a soft brush. And I'll go with a lighter gray. Yeah, probably something like that. And I have it on, so I'll put it on, so it, stays on this surface. Then I'll just go through like this, and just drop some values. Then I'll go a little bit darker. Drop some more values. And what you can do, what I like to do is color pick. And then what this does is just, grab values wherever the closest source is. Alright. So I'll just color pick and then just start grabbing values and then just smoothing it out. You can start rough at first, and then you can just, grab the soft brush and then go back in and smooth it out. Something like that. Or you could just start off with a soft brush altogether. So, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And what I do is I just keep on, adding different values. Okay. Play around with the opacity and the size. All right. So something like that. All right. And then you got like a little, since it's kind of rounded, you know, you have your, you know, your main spot where the light's hitting. And it might spread out a little bit. The light might spread out a little bit. And what's really cool is once you get like the main part laid out, you can go back in and minimize your size. Go back in and just grab a dark value, and then just start making some creases. You know, if you want to add some design to it, you know, just make some creases in the armor like that. Alright, so then you have your crease, and then just select like a lighter source and then go over the top area like that. Okay, and of course the same rule applies to the light, so your light's going like that, right? So you're going to want to make this a little brighter, okay, because it's following the same light source all the way, and that's where your main light is hidden. And then same thing goes in the back. You know, you want to make this area a little bit darker. Okay, so it just makes it pop more. It just makes it stick out. Just follow the general, you know, the general rule, I guess you could say, or guideline, with the light to dark, light to dark, light to dark. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to show you with the select tool. Okay. And this is actually a new technique that I came across whenever the select tool was applied to Sketch Club. Thank you. So basically, you take the select tool and put it on add. Alright. Then you just pretty much just the same thing. Just create. This time I'll do like a gauntlet. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it applies to that. Okay. So this time I'll do kind of like a gauntlet. On like that goes on the arm. So I'm just drawing out a gauntlet. All right. It's not exactly perfect, but it will do. Then I grab the fill tool. I grab a medium gray, fill it in. Alright, so this is how you can use the select tool. Another thing you can do with the select tool is you can put it on subtract and add. So if you put it on add, you can add to it. And then just fill it in. Bam, like that. Okay? Or you can subtract from it. So say there's certain parts you don't want, you know, you just take the subtract tool and subtract around. Well, actually, don't fill it in yet. So once you get it the way you want, you know, just subtract around so that way you can get, you know, the shape you want. It's up to you if you want to fill it in or not. It's just you'll have to erase it and stuff, but just keep on going around it and just, you know, just get the shape you want. All right. All right. So we fill it again. All right. And select tool is a great tool to have on here. It can work some wonders, trust me. So yeah, so like basically the same thing applies, all right? So this time I'm just going to use a soft brush. Pick a lighter source, all right? Just determine where your light's coming from. Like I said, a lot of times you can just fake it. Just throw a light source down. Okay. Let's see. Because nobody really knows exactly how the light's gonna hit unless you just have a straight object. But because there's so much density, so much refractions, and just details and stuff like that. Let's now pick a lighter one, or a darker one, sorry. Okay. Maybe throw some dark down here. But you're still keeping the same principle, light to dark, or light to dark to light, whatever. Add a little bit more light right there. Try to make this a little bit lighter. Like that. Okay, but it has that that cylinder type shape. So you just keep in mind how a cylinder works, just like with the spear up above. The little piece of armor up above it. Just like with that, you just keep in mind the spear, and then you just work it as kind of like a spear would work. Same thing with the cylinder. Oops, didn't mean to do that. All right. Okay, and then once you start adding like, you know, little creases, and starting out you might want to do like, okay, say like you want to add more details, like little creases. You might want to do it on a separate layer, but you can always merge it down once you like it. So that way it doesn't interfere with your main source of light. Me, I just go kind of crazy with it because like I end up adding details in the end anyway. Okay, so you got your light. Okay. It's all about values. It's all about values. And the cool thing is once you get your values right and you have it laid out the way you want it, then you can turn off the select tool, by the way. Just hit double clear because that clears it all. If you just clear it off, like if you don't hit double clear, it won't exactly clear it off, so you'll still be on that object. So that's just a little tidbit of advice if you guys don't know about it. Okay, so now I can take this object, this gauntlet, and I can go into filters. And what I do in filters is go to sepia and change the color of it. Alright, so instantly it just changes the color. And this is what I do a lot. You don't have to do it, but you know. Or you can just go over the armor with a soft brush too. And have it on, you know, like soft light or overlay, whatever your preference is. And the same thing, you know, just pick a color. And just go over it with the soft light if you don't want to make it so intense. And then if you want to, you can just go on the filter, change it to sepia. And there you go. Okay. And then say you want to add more details. Yeah. So you say you want to add more details, alright? Just actually, here's another cool thing you can do. You can hit select tool again. So that way it only applies to this gauntlet that we're working on, right? Hit add. And then just go around it real quick. Let's say, okay, let's say you just want details right here, all right? That's the only place you want the details. Okay. Put the select tool right there. And then go get a texture brush or whatever. Let's see. Let's do something a little bit more rough. Alright. So I got this texture brush. Bump up the contrast. You know, just start laying down some textures. Make it a little dirty or whatever. Okay. Grab some different values. You know, just kind of blend it in. Alright, then take the select tool off. Bam. Now you got some little dirt stains and details and all kinds of stuff. Same thing applies if you want to throw on another layer, alright? Maybe you want some scratches or something. Another thing I like to do is use the Smudge Tool for smaining. This is really cool for if you want to get like some really detailed scratches or dents, or even like you know, some design work on it. So what I do is I'll just start making some little swirlies, you know. This is just something I like to do. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. And I'll just color pick from different areas and then just, you know, kind of bump it up. If it's too much, you can always take like the soft brush and then just soften it down. Oops. Just soften it down a little bit. So then you zoom out, you can still see the details. You can see like the little nicks and scratches and stuff like that. If you want to add, say like, okay, let's do a circle, alright? Let's do a circle. Oops, not like that. Let's do a vector. So you want to add like some little bumps or some little divots. All right. Put a vector right there. Vector right there. And maybe a vector right here. All right. So now you got some little divots in there. Okay. And then probably grab like the pen tool. Drop the opacity. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Grab some light. Oops, not like that. Alright, grab some light. Drop some light on there. Something like that. Then just go in there and start detailing different areas, you know. Okay. Let's see. What's our time at? What did I not cover? Wow. Okay. Alright, so yeah, so that's some techniques you can use. Select tool, soft brush, vector to create armor. A lot of times that's how I do it. Another thing you can do is, let's merge all this down. Alright. And say like you see the softness that showed up right there. That's because of the for some reason when you merge down, maybe if you have it on overlay or soft light or something like that, sometimes it doesn't merge the layers down altogether without, I don't know, the color smearing out or something. Anyway, I'll show you this other one. Alright. Let me go ahead and close all this out. You know what? I'll go ahead and take questions right now if you guys have any. And then I'll show you a few other things. I just wanted to hold off on the questions so it could go smooth and I wasn't having to stop every time. Sweet. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions right now, I'll answer them as best as I can. Cool. I think the main thing that I wanted you guys to get from this is the different techniques and the basic, forms of lighting and shadow. Because really, honestly, it's not that complicated. Once you have the general, light to dark, down. The rest is just basically you're either faking it or just adding extra stuff. I can work in a single. You can work in a single layer, or you can work in separate layers. I prefer to work in just one layer, just to keep from using too many layers. Hold on, let me answer Fleur's question first, real quick. If you had textures added to the armor, would you also take light source into account with that? Yeah, you take the light source into account. The light's never gonna change. The only thing that's changing is the surface. and because the surface is different, that's gonna determine how the light reacts to it. So if you have textures and stuff like that, the light's never gonna change. It's just the scatter of the textures or details. You know, you have like a scratch. Say like, you know, you just apply the same principle to a scratch as you would the cylinder shape of or sphere shape of the armor. Okay. All it is the scratch is going to be catching light on the top part of the scratch, and the indentation of it is going to be in shadow. So really that's all it is. But a lot of it's just, you know, it's all textured anyway, so nobody's going to go in there and pinpoint every little particular detail and say, oh, well, this ain't right, the light ain't hitting that right, or whatever, you know. Because armor really refracts in so many different ways anyway, with the different surface. It can smear, it can break up. You know, there's just all kinds of different factors that play into it. The main thing I wanted you guys to take in was just the basics and how to create basic armor. And if you want to take it further than that, add in details and all that stuff, then feel free. I mean, you can go so crazy with it. You can even add embroidery if you wanted to. And I'll show you this in a minute. What do you do to add the ground and sky reflections? Let me show you that right now. Let's use this armor. Okay. Let's go ahead and add the color to it. All right. So since the light is coming from the top, which would probably mean that, you know, that's the sun hitting it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go over how to apply the ground and sky reflections real quick, y'all. All right. Just select a color, like blue or something like that. Whatever, you know, comes from the sky. And put it on, I guess, overlay. Grab a soft brush or whatever you want to use. Let me increase the opacity here. Probably use a different blend mode. Let's see, sky, no. I mean, multiply, no. Screen, that's too much. No. Usually I just use soft light a lot because it's soft, but like overlay or whatever, but it's very seldom. Alright, so that would be like your sky, okay? You know, add some clouds. So that would be like your sky. You know, actually make it a little bit bluer. Okay. Alright, so something like that. Okay. So then for ground, basically what you're doing is you're just separating the plane. That's all you're doing. Just think of it as a mirror. It's mirroring the ground and the sky. And let's get off of that. Okay. I don't know why not staying on there. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so you're just separating the ground and the sky. Think of it as a mirror. Okay, now I'll do the ground. The ground consists of green, right? Alright. You can even grab like a texture brush, whatever, that has like trees or grass. Let's see, throw some leaves in there. Yeah, let me get rid of this red real quick. Alright, throw some leaves in there. Okay. Some brown. So you got trees. But this isn't going to be like, in certain pieces of armor, it's not going to be, you know, depending on the density or the definition or shape of the armor. Oh, sorry guys, I just got an amber alert. Somebody's missing. Okay, so now we'll add some trees. You can't really see it because of the armor. Even like a building or something. It's like let's just say like a gold building. Okay. I gotta get off of this. Alright, let's just do this on this. So like a building, might be a building in the background or something like that. So, you know, something like that. I mean, you guys understand the general concept? Yeah, even some guys, yeah, stuff like that. Even you can draw some people, you know. But just remember, they're not going to exactly be in a particular straight form, okay? It's all going to go around like how the armor is shaped, you know. I work in a single layer for the most part. You can work in separate layers if you're not sure what you want to use. So if you want to lay something down, but you know you're not sure about it, just safe bet is to use it on a separate layer and then merge it down if you're happy with it. Okay. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to show you guys was I'm gonna clear this out. I want to show you guys embroidery, which can be really cool. See a lot of armor that has like designs of like maybe people on it. And the same principle applies once again. I'm just using a pen right here. So say you want to draw like a person or something, or an animal, or whatever the case may be. You just And this might be a little bit more complicated, but you're just keeping to the values. Just remember where the light's coming from. Alright. So you can already see it's kind of popping out there. Just remember where the light's coming from, where the darks are falling. And for embroidery, it's going to be flat, okay? It's going to be flat, so all this is going to be flat. And you can do some reference. I mean, you can, it's not going to be perfect. You can look up on Google or whatever. So I know this isn't going to be perfect. And it's really sloppy too, so I apologize. I'm just trying to get the general idea across to you. Yeah, so it's going to be like a flat surface. So something like that, okay? And do some scratches. Scratches are pretty easy. A lot of times I just use like the smudge brush and just smudge it. So it kind of adds some shadow and light and stuff into it. So I just go across it like that. And just add like some little scratches. Something like that. If it gets too smudgy, you can always go back in with the pen tool or whatever. Smooth things out. This is actually great for, say like you wanna add some definition, okay? Like that. I use the smudge tool a lot, and I just go crazy with it. You can't get over crazy with it though. I mean, you can get a little bit too much, but if that happens, just go over it with a soft brush just to soften the details, just to soften it down, and then you know, just go back over it again. So something like that. Any more questions, guys? You can always, also, you can start out with the sketch brush, the sketchy tool, if you want, and design it first before you go in and, you know, fill it in and start adding values and stuff like that. If you want to go in and design it first, just make sure you have design down that you want. And once you get the design down that you want, then go back in and start filling it in. I make it up as I go, but I do refer to reference. I'll look at reference if I'm not sure about certain types of the armor. But yeah, it just comes from straight imagination and just, creating as I go. A lot of it just sticks to me. It's not. It's not. I know a lot perfect all the time. My the way I do sometimes it's not exactly like it's not realistic or whatever. It does for the most part apply to the general rules. But yeah, I mean yeah, I refer to armor sometimes like reference but it's mostly imagination, just creating it. You guys have any other questions? Yeah, I'm just really I'm just winging it, man. But you know I'm keeping with the whatever you call it, the general rules or guidelines of how the light and dark hit, and that's really all you got to do. And if you're starting out, I would definitely recommend these. You don't have to, but I would recommend these techniques, especially the like the soft brush one. You know, it's just real easy, man. You just lay down some lines. You know, if you want to go like curvy or whatever, and then just go back over and erase it. If you want to make it like a gauntlet or whatever, this one would be like a shoulder pad. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody.